All right, guys. The Iceman here on the Iceman's Return to YouTube channel on a Saturday. Thanksgiving's all said and done. I had a great time. I spent 3 days out at my sister's house. Um, Thanksgiving evening, Matt and I decided to throw in a Night of Champions DVD from 2009. We watched that. So I didn't watch Impact on Thursday night, but last night when I returned home, I watched Impact Wrestling from Thursday, and then I followed that up by watching SmackDown right after that. So I got both shows under my belt. But first off, I want to announce tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, the Iceman is going to do a very rare Skype. My Skype channel is CenaFan V21. Again, CenaFan V21. If you are interested in contacting the Iceman tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, prior to 7 o'clock, please send me a message to add your contact information so I can approve it, and we'll talk some wrestling, whether it be TNA, WWE, or whatnot. Yeah, it's very rare that the Iceman does this, but tonight I decided to do this. So anybody interested, contact me prior, no later than 6 o'clock, so I can approve your contact info, and I will be on at 7 o'clock tonight, so Eastern Time. Anyway, Andre Corbeil had messaged me or commented after Thursday that I didn't do an Impact review, and it was only because I hadn't seen it as of yet. And I will say this: watching both Impact and both SmackDown this week, the Thanksgiving shows. I mean, I would, well, I don't know. I thought Impact was pretty mediocre at best. I did like the Rude Angle match where we had Team Rude against Team Angle. Of course, it ended up with a disqualification. But anyway, the show kicked off with Dixie Carter, and this part of the show sort of like put a sour taste in my mouth. She had appointed as chief administrator Rockstar Spud. Um, Now, my problem with this is you're going to get new people on TNA Impact, get them there for wrestling, Dixie. None of this assistant to you. And I do understand possibly why she's doing it, because maybe Dixie Carter's not going to be doing much more appearances on TNA, which is fine. I mean, I think it's starting to run its course. I think he'll end after the AJ thing comes to fruition after the first of the year. And after she does get a new TNA World Heavyweight Champion after the tournament, hopefully. But yeah, so that part of that segment I didn't really care for. Chief Administrator, you don't need it. Yes, we had Hulk Hogan running the show for so long, but he decided not to re-sign because he wants a match at WrestleMania in the WWE. Good riddance, Hulk Hogan. We don't need you. Go ahead, make a fool of yourself. And I will say this: if Hulk Hogan has a match at WrestleMania in the WWE and wins, it's a sad state of affairs for his opponent. That's all I got to say. Okay, so anyway, we had Ethan Carter III come out, and of course they're promoting him in a big way as Dixie's nephew, which obviously we all know he's really not, but he ended up facing Curryman. Now, I don't know if anybody remembers this. Christopher Daniels used to be Curryman in the recent past in TNA. Now, of course, when Curryman came out, it sort of looked like Daniels, the body build, the demeanor. Of course, if you saw the back of the mask, it had a little bit of hair. That doesn't mean it wasn't Christopher Daniels. But anyway, the match was won by Ethan Carter III. They're really pushing this guy, and it wouldn't surprise me if Dixie tries to get him as the world heavyweight champion in TNA sometime soon. We'll just have to wait and see. But again, I'm not a big fan of Ethan Carter III. But anyway, it's something different in TNA. We had the knockouts match. Lady Tapa and Velvet Sky. It was nice to see Velvet. By no means did I think Velvet was going to win this match. Lady Tapa is just a monster. She's the biggest thing in TNA as far as the knockouts division goes, as far as size, since we saw Awesome Kong. And yeah, she's devastating. And I'm just waiting for the moment for Lady Tapa to turn on Gail Kim and end up becoming the Knockouts champion, because it's going to happen. I'll guarantee it. We also saw segments with the Bromans, with the Turkey stuff with Eric Young and ODB. And the Bromans, to me, they're different, but I personally, in my opinion, they could move them in a different direction. They're comical, they're idiotic. They do make for some sort of entertainment, depending on what kind of entertainment level you're on to watch them. They faced Norv Furnham and Dewey Barnes, the guys that Ethan Carter III have beaten on like 3 or 4 different occasions. No big deal there. I will say this, though. Dewey Barnes got a lot of talent. He's very quick in the ring. He actually probably could be somebody, but after all this fiasco of making him look like a loser in TNA, it probably never will happen. But the guy's got some spunk, and I give him a lot of credit there. Norv Furnham, don't even know why he's here, guys. Really don't. But anyway, it was okay. We had Team Rude go up against Team Angle. And of course, Team Rude, we had Kazarian, Christopher Daniels, Chris Sabin against Kurt Angle and Magnus, Gunner, and James Storm. Gunner and James Storm still having their little differences because of Gunner throwing in the towel in the prior week, trying to do the best for James Storm, which, in essence, I have no problem with Gunner throwing in the towel. James Storm was getting pretty well beaten up by Bobby Roode in that Florida Death match. But anyway, it got down to the point where Kurt Angle was all alone. Magnus had an issue with an injury and whatnot. But anyhow, this is how TNA planned it out. But a chair was thrown into the ring, and Kurt Angle decided to take the chair, and he started beating down on everybody on Team Rude. And of course, the ref disqualified Angle, which was fine. It's just building up for their match. Obviously, they're making it pretty obvious, really. This is the thing that I sort of had a problem with, because they're sort of making it obvious that it's going to be Angle versus Rude for the new TNA World Heavyweight Championship match. And where does this leave Jeff Hardy? And where does this leave Magnus? Because they're overshadowing the fact that those two, Hardy and Rude, wrestle next week. Magnus and Angle wrestle next week. But by all this ongoing stuff, it's obvious that it's going to be Rude and Angle. And now, who becomes the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion? Right now, still remains up in the air. It wouldn't surprise me if either one won. So, but anyway. So then they had their little feast at the end of the show. Rockstar Spud, who was in charge of taking care of the big feast. So we had the winners Bobby Roode, Daniels, Kazarian, Sabin, the Bromans. Gail Kim was out there with Lady Tapa. Originally, Velvet Sky was out there with Chris Sabin, and of course Rude made a remark, and Sabin looked like he was going to go against Rude, but turned around and told Velvet to leave. So that's sort of their separation, I think, there. But it was interrupted later on by Kurt Angle. It was crashed by Angle, with Angle, Storm, Gunner, Eric Young, ODB, Velvet Sky, Norm Furnham, and Dewey Barnes. And it was one of those shows where, what did we really expect? It was Thanksgiving night, although we all know that TNA tapes ahead of time, but still, TNA was up against football on Thursday. There was 3 games Thursday, all in all, in the NFL. So if I were TNA, I wouldn't really put much into this show, and they didn't. And, it wasn't the greatest of all shows, but again, it was enjoyable to watch. I mean, I did enjoy it, even though I didn't see it as it aired on Spike TV. I watched it prior to watching SmackDown last night. So, but in any event, it was okay. And if I want to compare it to SmackDown, SmackDown was taking place at the Mohegan Sun Arena in Connecticut, and their main event was pretty good, I'd have to say, but again, an okay show. So anyway, I decided I was gonna just talk about Impact Wrestling in this video, and I'll talk more about it later on tonight on Skype at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, or we'll just talk any type of wrestling that anybody wishes to. So it's a rare occasion for the Iceman to do Skype. I usually don't do it. I had no problems deciding to do it, but hopefully guys like Andre Corbeil will be there because I'm really interested in talking to Andre about TNA wrestling. But again, it's not about one particular topic. It's about any wrestling topic you want to talk about. So it should be a fun time. And again, that's it. So anyway, I did want to do this video about Impact Wrestling and whatnot because, guys, Impact Wrestling is where you turn to because it's not rated PG, it's original, and it does things that we don't see in the other promotion of WWE. So peace out. It's Saturday. Again, send me contact info so I can approve. It's CenaFanV21 on Skype. And tonight at 7 p.m., the Iceman will be there, and we can have a pretty good wrestling talk show for however long it takes. It doesn't matter. Peace out, everybody. Have a great Saturday.